Previously on Drunk Girls Bible Study.
My name is Tre Foor, and I am a Christian. Ow, ow, ow! My head is just getting better.
Yeah.
It's a small room, so, just scale it back.
And we walked out, and she goes, I think you have a pride problem. And I was just like,
excuse me?
sorry, who are you?
Back up a minute, sister.
I did not see my qualification. I did not see what she saw. I didn't see that the things that I had been through, I didn't realize it yet, that everything that I had been through was all preparation to walk somebody else through it.
Yep.
To be compassionate in their hurt.
You just really touched me. You were just real. You were right here. Right here. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
And that was the first time that I realized that I could tell my story.
Welcome to Drunk Girls Bible Study Podcast. Drunk in the Spirit, drunk on the Word, connecting the Word to the world, authentically, unapologetically. And here are our hosts, Shahara White, Angelique Ihact, and Natasha Dion.
Shahara, what were your? I see you crying over there. I'm just like,
I love that girl.
I know, so do I.
And I just identify with that a lot. But yeah, it's so important that we tell. And I think as women, I think men sometimes don't realize when they hear women's stories, like it's not, the violation is horrible. But I think if it's, so many years, 20, 30 years before you get it out, that the not telling is just as bad as the violation for the woman.
Yeah.
Because you feel guilty, especially if you ever hear about someone else, even if there's a suggestion of someone else that may have been violated by the same person. So it's very, very, very important.
And it's difficult until recently. If a woman came out and told her story years after it happened, she wasn't actually embraced.
Oh gosh,
she would treat her
believe
like crap. Like why did you wait all this time? That was the culture. It's just recently, in the last year or so.
The judgment that comes when you say it anyway. There's always that judgment, and the woman's always worried. Who's going to believe me? Are they going to believe me? There's always that.
You count the cost. You count the cost of your experience. I count the cost of the weight of what I've carried and having not.
Absolutely.
And you know what? I'll take that cost
for the one, just one,
for the freedom that she's gonna get.
Yes.
And you can never disqualify anything, any situation that you go through, no matter what it is.
And the things that make you feel like you're breaking in the moment. If you're able to push through it and you survive it, it's going to be used. Someone can use those broken pieces are going to come together for someone else.
Romans 8:28. God will use all things for the good of those who love him and are called according to his purpose. I just love that verse. And that's the verse that I see in our lives in action.
Right.
And one of the things that I struggle with is coming to a point where I feel like, so I don't struggle so much with the shame of it, because I'm like, God has freed me from it. Like, I'm free indeed. Like when he said that, I'm free indeed. So to go back and relive those things, I don't relive them the same way. So it's hard for me to be like, oh, this, to access those emotions, because I'm living in this freedom that even frees me from the shame, from the memory, from the emotion of that. So when I talk about that happened to me, and I feel terrible because I'm sitting with women who are like crying, and I feel like there's something wrong, but it's like, that happened to me, and that happened. But I really believe in a way that God has freed me. So I used to think there's something wrong until I realized that we all deal with our own past and our own pain in the same way. For me, it makes me a defender. God's created me to be a different instrument.
Right.
For him.
Exactly.
That's all about your calling to your
fragile,
purpose.
That's always my prayer. I'm like, God, I'm your fragile instrument. Let me play the words that you have given me, or the song that you've given me to sing. But recognizing that we can be different. But at the same time, it makes me feel like I don't fit in because I'm not that girl, you know. I'm like, come on, girl, get out of it. We got some work to do. We gotta push on, you know. You're free, you know. But it makes it also, you know, for that side of me, I'm like, so what's the problem? And I think I asked you this one. So what are we supposed to be? You know, how do we do this thing with women?
Yeah, what do we do with that?
You know, what do you do with that?
Totally.
How is it? That's not my world to hang on to it when I believe, you know, this thing. And that's one of the reasons why I respect what you do, because you can access that place for women who are hurting, women who need to hear that story, but there's work to do. And I have to do it because I know what it's like to sit in that place, in that fear, and still have to move on, if that makes sense. But it also makes me realizing now that I'm a different kind of fragile instrument.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Right? So it's like,
but there's purpose in that, you know.
It takes all of us. Like every person's got to stand in their lane and be who they are in that moment. God created you that way to be that way. She's got to be that way to be that way.
Exactly.
Each part of us speaks to that woman.
Exactly.
There's nothing, you know, nothing is wasted.
No, and that's the beauty of it, right?
It's so true.
So many times in church we're treated as one kind of woman.
Yeah,
you know, here it is.
Yes,
like, you know, and this isn't like to say anything bad. You know, if we take a chapter in the Bible, this is how it is to be a wife, or this is how it is.
Right. No.
And we assume these are the roles, and but God is so unique. He's a genius, right? We're the expressions of his genius, and we all look different, you know, and but sometimes we think, okay, what says that? So that's for everybody.
Bust out the cookie cutter.
That, right?
You know, it's like
cookie
cutter. Yes.
Well, my first thought when you said that, this is how it is to be a wife, was honestly, my first thought was that this is how it was to be a wife.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Wait.
Natasha's like, preach.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But we have an entirely different set of circumstances, obstacles, financial obligations, a fallen, sinful world.
Yes.
Things that are, you know, the things that our men and our children are exposed to.
Yeah.
We have to be strong women.
Exactly.
We have to be.
Yes.
And we have to train up and raise strong women.
Yes.
That's right.
And that's, you know, for me, one of the victories in what happened is I have raised strong daughters.
Yes, you have.
Yeah. And they're beautiful and strong and fierce, just like you.
Yes.
There's no way that someone could do something to them and they wouldn't tell.
Yes.
Okay, if they wouldn't.
Well, I mean,
they'd probably like go home, grab a bat and Timmy and say, let's roll.
A bat and Timmy. Okay.
So true.
She said a bat and Timmy.
She'd be like,
Mr. Timmy.
Mama, call Natasha. I need representation. I handle my business.
Just tell me when you get back. I'll be waiting here.
So good.
But you know, there's just so much you can do with it. You know? We've had multiple girls come and live in our home.
Yes.
Because we're going to give them a safe environment.
Yes.
We're going to make them feel like their family. We're going to make them feel welcome and empowered. And if their families in the moment weren't able to do that, and that hasn't been the situation with every girl that's been in our home. So I don't want to, you know, disrespect anyone else's family, but for some of them it has. They didn't have family here. And so if we can do that for even a season and strengthen them and pour into them, then we're going to take that opportunity every chance we get. You know,
and that's deep, like taking somebody into your home, because that's like my sanctuary. You know what I mean? That's my respite.
Especially when they're in that fragile state, they're vulnerable. They've been, you know, it's like putting a cat in water and then, you know, expecting them to come in your home and be all like, they're not going to be that way. But you have the tools to handle her emotional state and her well-being at that time. It's beautiful that you do that.
And that reminds me of like Isaiah, is it 56 or 58, where it talks about, you know, what's the fast that God wants? And that's what it is. It's bringing people in, you know, serving people, you know, the orphans, the widows, the homeless, the hungry, the prisoner. I mean, that's it. That is God's religion, if that's what you want to call it. That's what he wants to see. It's not, you know, checking all the little Christian boxes and this is what we look like and this is what we say and this is what we do, and then we drive by the person on the side of the road that doesn't have any shoes or food.
Yes.
You know, it's like, but I look good in my clothes at church. So, and I sang on key. Did you hear that harmony?
Yeah, right.
I've never sang on key a day of my life.
She knows her strength. See? Awareness is everything.
Surround myself with you.
Love you.
I'm thinking of remembering a servant of our pastor singing
Yes.
"Love is a verb."
Yeah.
Yes.
Love is a verb.
It's true.
It is.
Love compels you
Yes.
to action.
That's
Love,
good.
true love compels you to act
Yeah.
in a way that is not about you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
Or your own people.
or your own
It's
people.
Your neighbor.
Yes.
It's
It's like the
inexplicable.
compassion.
Yes.
It's the compassionate heart of the Father God.
Yes.
And that compels you to do something,
Yeah.
to ease the suffering of another.
Yeah, and as Christians, we don't have the privilege to only love people who
No, we
love
don't.
us.
No, we don't.
We don't have that
Unfortunately.
privilege to only love people who love us.
That's so hard. though.
We don't, and that's the part that hurts.
Yeah.
It is the part
that's
that
why he
hurts.
had to say it.
Yeah.
I'm like, Jesus, I love people. That's easy, and people will treat it like that.
It's
I just
not
love
easy.
everyone.
Yeah, no.
it's the people
No,
that
you
don't
don't.
even actually
You're
like
lying.
you.
Bless those that curse you.
So
The ones that are backstabbing you, that have betrayed you, that have
Yes.
stolen from you,
Yes.
that have harmed you, that have injured your child. Hey
Right.
now, test me right
gloves
there.
are
Just
off.
lost everybody right there.
Blow your horn for that.
But look what mankind did to the Son of God.
Exactly.
Look what
Come on.
mankind did to the Son of God.
Come on.
Right.
And,
Come on.
and he said, forgive them for they know not what they do. And he laid down his life. That is love.
All of the things that
Yes.
God asks us to be and do, it requires those things.
The whistle.
Okay.
Help us, girl, help us. If you feel like throwing it in your Louis when you leave, go right ahead. I will not be mad at you.
No, Shara.
If I see you later this weekend and you're like, look what I found.
I'm going both at the same time.
She hands her a Ziploc just full of pieces. She's been smashed with a hammer. Here you go. Here's your whistle.
It says evidence.
I'm gonna lick them both.
Ah!
She's so nasty.
Now
You know
they're
we're on
mine.
video, right? But no, it's not. It's not easy to do. So,
No, it's not.
It requires all the things that God loves.
Trey, what do you look forward to when you wake up in the morning?
Coffee.
Coffee first. First things first with her is coffee.
We know our girl.
Yes.
All right.
I can't get down those stairs fast enough.
I'm surprised you don't have a Keurig in your bathroom. I'm just saying.
I've
Espresso
really
machine
thought
next
about
to
it.
her bed.
Yes. With very pretty, dishes and china.
I just
Yes.
did a 30-day cleanse, and it was no caffeine. And
Oh,
Oh, wonderful. That's so good.
no,
Shara,
it was
stop
awful.
it.
No, but I mean,
It was awful.
but you did it.
I did it, but I did it reluctantly, and I did it a little whiny because I wasn't
Die
get past
quietly.
like the die quietly. Yeah,
That's so great.
yeah. Once I got past that, the caffeine withdrawal, then I was
Yes.
like, I just really like it.
Yeah.
I enjoy it.
Yeah.
you know.
Right.
Yeah.
So
That's good. Do you believe in destiny? And
you know,
is destiny and calling the same thing? That's where I'll go. So
No. No, I don't believe that they are. I don't believe that they are. And I think destiny is a word that probably means different things to different people. I feel like for a lot of people, destiny, they just feel like you just are just a product of what life throws at you. You're just going to become whatever. You were just destined to be rich or to be poor or to be strong or be weak. This is just, so in that sense, I would say no. I don't think that we're just destined for things. And that's my interpretation of that.
Right.
Yes,
I think that, it sounds a little cliche, but our lives are what we make it.
Amen.
And
I
our
say
lives
it
are
all
what
the
we choose.
That's
If
right.
we choose to become a victim of circumstance, if we choose to let other people's choices dictate whether we succeed or not, whether we thrive or not, then sure, sit back and just be ready for destiny to steer the wheel for you.
Right.
Did your horn break?
Okay, yeah. No, so, and what is the difference between destiny and calling? Why are you?
I'm gonna burn it. Love her.
Plastic doesn't smell good when it's melted.
Calling, I absolutely believe a calling is a God-given burden, drive, passion, in your life. I don't think you choose your calling.
Amen.
I think you follow what you're passionate about, and that
Yes.
passion is stemmed by what God is going to equip you to do.
Amen.
I'm going to walk you through these things, and then I'm going to break your heart for this.
Oh.
Where's that mic? Mic drop.
Where? Yeah.
Someone took
Where
our
are
mics.
mics?
So I guess we didn't have our mics today.
I'm gonna burn that and replace it with cream puffs. How about that?
I like that.
No,
I'm going
that's
to
really
break your
good.
heart for that. And it's like implanting his heart of compassion. And there it is.
There
Thank
you
you,
go.
David.
Mic
Mic drop. Boom. Thank you. See, we really do have him.
Yes, it's true.
Yeah, because that's going to sort of lead me into the next question, because I believe that God gives us our calling, and it's that passion.
Yes.
Everything you just said about breaking your heart, because you're a women's leader for one of the largest churches in this valley, and which serves thousands of people, and it's you. And I know people don't call you pastor because you're not like necessarily because you're not like classically trained, whatever that means, and
Right.
pastoring. But clearly, God has given you these gifts. It wasn't something that you went after.
That's right.
Do you feel that, like, I'll call you Pastor Tre, my daughter will call you Pastor, so because you, by definition, you also shepherd women.
A lot of women do, because they recognize pastor means shepherd.
Yep.
Yeah,
And more and more, there's a lot of women that, for them, when I correct
Yes.
them, they're like, this is respect. Don't ask me to disrespect you.
Yeah.
And the role that you've been entrusted with.
Right.
Give honor where honor is
That's
due.
right.
Okay. You
Right,
know.
right.
That's right.
But no, I didn't go to Bible college, and I will tell you, I have the utmost respect for everyone that has gone through that training.
Yeah.
But Angelique's done both. And I don't think, so I think you could probably testify that there's nothing that I could have learned in a book,
No.
Yeah.
in a classroom that would have prepared me for the things
No.
that we walk
Come
women
on.
through.
That's right.
No, I honestly believe the only reason that, I'm in school is because God told me to, because I don't need that piece of paper.
Right.
But some doors do. And I believe that in the future, God's going to
He's
call me
taking you
through
places.
doors that
That's
are
right.
going to require that piece of paper. He doesn't require it,
That's
but man
right.
will.
Right.
And I respect it. I mean,
Yes.
my daughter did it.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, my daughter spent 3 years.
Yes.
And you learn a lot of great things.
And oh my goodness, became such just a well-equipped, spiritually grounded young woman. She's got biblical foundation in her. I mean, she could out-preach me all day.
But she's very gifted though too. I mean, that
is,
really. I mean, your gifts are like discernment and shepherding, definitely. And overseeing women and all of that, and all of the different ministries and things that you do. But she is actually an amazing preacher. I've heard her preach, and it's just straight fire.
Wow.
Yeah. And she's an encourager. She just walks in the room and you feel happy around her.
Yes, that is absolutely true.
Yeah. So there's great value to it.
Yeah.
So I don't want to take anything away from that. I paid for it. I put her through this.
I valued it enough to pay for it. Yes, literally.
Yeah. So I want to really make sure that I clarify that. But what the vein of ministry that God has called me to,
Right.
is women.
Yeah.
And specifically women. I know that have been through really painful things.
Yes.
And then I can walk them through that, and I can love them through that. And it's the joy, the absolute joy of my life, because there's ministry is a thankless job.
It is.
Yes.
So
Very
many
much.
times.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know.
So many times.
I know you know. I'm just saying, whoever's listening.
Yes.
Yes.
It's so funny too, because sometimes in your life, I don't know, maybe you've been in thankless places before you got into this place where God said,
Like
it's
motherhood.
you. And you're like, what? It's not me.
But
right?
but it's also the most rewarding.
Like motherhood.
Yeah.
Yes.
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 When you see someone walking on the other side
Yes.
of what the enemy intended to take them out.
Yes.
Even just last night on Facebook, one of the women in our church, she went through hell and then some. She was suicidal. She had just so much happen. And she commented on something, and someone said, like, what a blessing. And she said, I know my life is so blessed.
And I know who you're talking about. You know what's so amazing is that she's still in the middle of a trial. There's still, there's still many things that have not been resolved, things that have not changed. The circumstances have not changed. The assault is still, she's there's an onslaught of assault.
The threat is real.
Yes.
The threat is real, but
And
her
she can still be
perspective
I'm
has
blessed.
changed.
Yes.
She knows that she's in the hand of the Almighty God.
And I think that's why that comment was so powerful
Yes.
to me, because I know her trial, her
That's
physical
right.
trial
Yes.
is
Right.
still coming.
Yes.
I know the threat to her family
Yes.
is still real.
Yes.
And she is walking right now declaring my life is blessed.
Yes. That is a miracle.
A woman that didn't even want to live that life a couple years ago.
Yeah, it's a legit. That is a legitimate miracle to me.
That makes every minute we spend with our hand to the plow worth it.
Yeah,
you can see God come in and heal. Forget it. It's all worth it.
Is there a place for women in women's ministry who aren't suffering and who aren't pulling themselves out of something? Is there a place for her?
Absolutely.
Who wants to know Jesus, who wants to sit there and learn more about Jesus?
Yes.
Or is it more towards women who are hurting, suffering?
Oh no. Absolutely.
Let's speak to that.
Yeah,
absolutely. And I've told every woman, I've had this conversation with, there's a place for every single one of you.
Yeah.
And there's a need. It's not like we're just going to place you.
Right.
There is a need for every woman in every circumstance, in every walk of life. We have to have the women that have got their stuff together.
Yes.
Stuff.
Your filter kicked in. She's got a very clean mouth. She's not like me.
She's not like me.
She's not like me.
I was on the phone this morning and she was asking some questions. And so I told her, I said, well, I've got to let you go. I'm headed over to Drunk Girls Bible Study to record with them. She said, oh, it's so exciting. And she goes, I'll be praying. And I said, okay, we'll pray for my filter. And she goes, I don't think you need a filter with those ladies.
Oh no, we become those ladies.
I'm gladly one of those ladies. You don't need a filter. Come as you are. Because that's the heart of God.
Sure.
Jesus,
I know.
He knows.
I'm talking about the cussing.
Yeah,
part.
I know.
No,
I'm still
I know
working
what
on
we
that.
Believe in.
But we still have to go into that on that whole cussing thing. Because anyway. Well, that's a conversation for another day. But
I think one of the most powerful things we've been able to offer women is a one-on-one mentoring and discipleship program.
Yeah.
Which actually we are in the midst of revamping now, and so it's women that are these women that sounds like that you're describing that are they're solid.
Yeah.
They're solid in their faith. They're solid in their marriage.
Not
they're
that
solid
things
in their
that don't
home.
happen to them. Things happen like
but
everybody.
You mean like they're not crawling out of it right now?
Yeah,
Right.
or like suffering and need to know this.
Right.
It's they're just in the place that we hope to all eventually be, right? And so we'll pair them up with a younger woman that doesn't really know anything. Why do we believe what we believe? Why does the Bible? What does this mean when it says this? And
right.
Why does the church say this? And so they get an opportunity to meet one on one. You have to have women that aren't the walking wounded.
Absolutely.
To be able to pour into the people.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's a place for everybody.
Good. So good. We're going to kind of wind it down a little bit.
Okay.
As a leader, you live in a fishbowl. Like, people are judging. It means a lot of things.
No idea.
They're watching. How do you manage knowing that? Because our goal is not to be somebody else, to have this mask, to do, and people will interpret.
To live a double life or whatever.
Yeah, and people will interpret guard your heart different ways, and it makes them, how do you remain in the community and still do the very hard job of women's ministry as a leader? How do you, I know there's no trick, but how do you maintain who you are, because you are transparent, you are real? How do you do that? Or what's the best advice you could give to maybe even a women's ministry leader?
Honestly, I have had to just really embrace, I'm not ever going to fit a church mold. I am not your typical church lady. You guys know this, but just in general. And I had to free myself from a couple of things. One, trying to fill the shoes of the giant that walked before me. And just the stereotypical, what do women in ministry look like?
Right.
As a whole. But then also to free myself from the expectation of who I needed to be, who the church expected me to be.
It's good.
And just be myself.
Yeah.
Be myself. Because
so
one, let me tell you, nobody fought harder to disqualify me for this position than me.
Right.
It's true.
When Angelique was, her husband was being transferred out of state, and she said, I think God said, and she had been kind of subtly telling me, leading up, she was preparing
And it
me.
wasn't, I think God said, I was like, I know.
And I was like, honestly, I was like, girl, you tripping. Two of the pastors asked to meet with me, and they both said, God has really confirmed for us that you are the one, that you're equipped and you're ready and you're the one. And I was like, well, what do I say now?
Right? That's just like telling God no.
I mean, I'm pretty comfortable telling her, like, girl, you're tripping. Yeah, I think you missed it on this one, right? Because we're tight like
Yes,
that.
yes.
But to my pastor and to our, our spiritual growth pastor, to look at them and say, yeah, I think you guys both missed it as well.
Right. I'm sorry, Pastor. You need to go back and ask
him again.
I wanted to. The thought crossed my mind, but that felt a little pompous in the moment.
Yeah.
And so I had to, literally put on my big girl pants and just say, I don't even know what this looks like, and I'm terrified, but I trust that God has spoken to 3 people that I trust and said that I'm called to this, and I'm called to it for who I am right now.
Yes.
Right.
In that moment when God told them I was supposed to be doing this, they knew I couldn't sing like she can sing. I certainly couldn't preach. This girl can preach the house down.
Amen.
They knew that I hadn't been through the traditional book, biblical college training, as we talked about, that I was just a willing servant. And I had to accept what God was telling them, even though I wasn't feeling it yet.
Yes.
And I had to be true to who I am.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that I know that I faltered in it and stumbled through it and made mistakes.
But that's how you learn.
But I've also been surrounded by just spiritual giants that really believe the best in me and have poured into me and equipped me and taken me for who I am in the moment. And sometimes I'm like, I think that, I don't know if they say it or not, but I think that they're glad that I'm a little bit outside of the box.
Definitely.
Because I can reach different people.
That's
right.
Yeah.
And so I would say to anyone, do not try and become who you think you need to be for that ministry position.
Boom.
Yeah.
Don't do it, because you'll fail.
Thank you.
You won't be able to keep that mask on for long. You're juggling so many different things.
That's right.
You can't hold that mask up here at the same time.
Right.
So be true to yourself, unashamed, unapologetic.
Yeah.
But with respect.
Yes.
Yeah.
With respect.
Always.
I won't, if I've ever done it, it wasn't intentionally. I'll do nothing to bring dishonor or disrespect to my pastor or my church.
Right.
Even in times if I don't even agree with, something that we're doing or a decision that's made, I will honor that decision because I honor God and I trust and I see the explosion of what's happening in our church.
Right.
And so if you walk in a place of honor, God's always going to cover you.
Amen.
Amen.
He is.
So
even
good.
when you trip, he's going to cover you. He's going to brush off your knees,
That's so
pick you back up, pat you on the back.
Yep.
Even when you're mad, you can be like,
Yes.
yes. It is well.
That was good.
It is well.
with my
It
soul.
will be well.
'Cause
It will be well. It will be well with my soul.
It will.
No, that's true.
That's true.
Yeah.
And that applies anywhere
Yes.
God places you, whether it's in an office
That's
where
right.
you work
Come
or
on.
at home, wherever
That's
you
so
are,
true.
it makes no difference
right.
no matter where you are. Honor the place
Yeah.
that you
Yeah.
are.
Lead with that.
It kind of reminds me of, like, we were talking about the parable where, God still calls him friend, even though he's got the wrong clothes. He's showing
right.
up and he's being disrespectful. And God, I mean, the Spirit of the Lord is honor.
Yeah.
It's not something that he does. That's part of who he is. That's his nature and character is honor.
So this is the last question, and we're gonna just end with this. What are you most proud of?
My family.
I knew you were going to say that.
My family, and not because they're perfect. Because we faced every trial, every challenge that there is. We're a blended family. We've had our highs and we've had our lows, but I am so proud. I'm so proud of each of them. There's been times and hard days where I'm like, what were you thinking? But there's never been a moment where I haven't been anything but just filled with tremendous pride and joy. That's my son.
Yeah.
That's my girl. That's my man. And my babies now.
Yeah, babies. Whole new level. Level up. Yeah, level up.
I honestly, everything that I do, every bit of juggling, I put in some long days sometimes. We, balancing ministry and real estate, and when you keep your eye on the prize, it's all worth it. Yeah, I really am, because I feel like I've equipped them to walk the same walk. They're real. They have fun.
Yeah.
They don't feel like they have to conform to what the ministry leaders' kids are supposed to do or don't do. They're very they're individuals, and they're strong in the things they believe in, and but they're good people. They're compassionate people. But I think because they don't conform to those boxes, I think they're drawing more people to Jesus than
Yeah, I do too.
Exactly it.
So
That's
good.
it.
You mean you could be a Christian and have fun too?
Yeah, right?
But that's the truth.
That's
Especially,
so true.
You know, in the environment my boys work, they're family men. They
Yeah.
love their wives. They are fiercely loyal to their wives, and you know, now for Ryan, his baby girls, and that's not bragging. That I am proud. I am proud that my boys love their wives the way that they do. That they cherish their family.
It's
they love their
beautiful.
sisters. You know, that's really.
Praise
Yeah.
God.
So good.
Thank
a
you
great
so
answer.
much for being here, Trey.
Thank you.
I love you.
Yes.
Thank you for
so
being
much.
here.
I love each of you so much. It's so differently, such different relationships with each of you. I love you guys so much. I have so much respect for what you're doing, and it's just and the evidence. You know, the evidence is so clear on all the followers, everything that you guys have going on.
We love you guys. Thanks for
Yeah.
listening. We love you guys.
Yeah.
We love you, Trey.
Love you.
Love you.
So if you've enjoyed hearing from Trey and you'd like to hear more from Trey, you can find her at Tre Foor on Instagram or Tre Foor on Facebook. Thanks for listening. We love you guys.